Being too early to market is as bad as being too late to market. If you're an inventor and you think you've got your hands on something that's going to be really disruptive, it's a thin dividing line between being, plain crazy or truly brilliantly disruptive. And then it's just down to flawless execution. How do you know the difference, and how do you advise and how do you evaluate something like that?
So I think what we do is probably what an entrepreneur and innovator should do, and that is you actually go and speak to people in the market. And I think that one of the things that we spend a lot of time on is thinking about adoption curves. And within healthcare, as you know, if you take, say, a surgical procedure, for something to become the gold standard, so if you look at laparoscopic procedures, it took 5-10 years for some of those procedures.
And then some.
Yeah. And so it can take a long time, particularly when you have to train, in that particular field, you have to train people and you've got to convince, the surgeon who's been doing it for 30 years that, the way they've been doing it isn't necessarily wrong, but there are better ways of doing it. But if you can find some early adopters who go, you know what, it sounds a bit crazy, but I'm prepared to try it. And whatever that might be, not just in healthcare, but in any field, then you get a sense of, okay, we might have a few early adopters here. Can we get into sort of a more growth phase, and how long is that going to take? And what I find with a lot of certainly early stage entrepreneurs is they're scared of going to the market because they're scared of being told that this isn't going to work. But actually, if you've got something that's truly disruptive, probably 95 to 96 of the 100 people you ask are going to tell you it's not going to work. In some respects, you've got to go for confirmatory bias, where you've got to find someone who actually is a believer and get them on board, and sort of away you go. And you take a lot of rejection on the way. And I think that is probably the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, because you can get into a bubble and you keep beavering away inside your shed, as it were, developing something. But when you come out the other side, maybe no one wants it.
It's interesting. Years ago, Bill Cook, who started Cook Medical and introduced percutaneous angioplasty effectively, he said that he sat in a room, I think it was with 20 cardiologists, cardiac surgeons, pitched the idea and was unanimously told it was a stupid idea. And he said, that's when I realized I was onto something really disruptive.